Hey guys, Ben here. I'm going to be doing some game engine programming, something a little bit different. I want to do an X11 platform layer from scratch today, which basically just means we're going to create a program that will open a window and draw a color to it. And then probably next time we'll do it on Windows to get the game engine to work on both Linux and Windows. However, it's going to be a little bit involved. So let's just go ahead and get going here. Um, I'm going to set up my terminal the way that I want it to be. Let's just get this all figured out here. Probably make myself a little smaller. Yeah, that's probably good. Just like that. All right. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to cd into my repositories and then ls. Let's just see what we have in here. So yeah, we already have a folder called engine. That was my first take. And I've been doing engine programming for a while, so there's also some other projects in here. But let's just do this from scratch here. Let's just make directory engine1, because I don't really know what I want to call it yet. That will come over time. Let's see. We're going to make directory engine1 slash source, or I'm sorry, platform. And we're going to use the -p flag slash source. So we'll have a platform source directory, and we'll also have a glad directory because I need to download glad. So that's probably the first thing I should do. I have the glad repository open here, and this is probably going to be our only dependency here aside from X11. So we're just going to go to the web service for glad 2. We're going to get GL 4.6, GLX 1.4, WGL 1.0. We're going to use the core profile, common, and we're going to add all of the extensions, which we probably don't need to, but it's whatever. It doesn't really matter. And then the loader, I need to make sure that I check that box, and you do too. Otherwise, if you're trying to follow along, that's really going to suck for you because you won't have access to the glad GL load function or whatever. Anyway, let me just go over this. EGL we don't need. GLX, yep. Okay, this all looks pretty good to me. So we're going to generate glad. And yeah, so now we have a glad.zip right here. Oh, actually, now I have two. But let's just extract this right here and then cut these into my repositories, engine1, platform, glad. Let's just put these in here. And okay, that should be pretty good. And I'm going to use Glad's startup example for X11 because X11 is notoriously kind of stupid to like when it comes to like remembering how to do it. So let's just do this here. Let's cd engine1 platform and then open Vim. We're going to open Vim in what do we need? Test main.c. Oh, but no, we need to make directory test first, and then we can do vim test slash main.c. Yeah, because if you try to write this file and the folder doesn't exist, it'll give you some bullshit. Like, I can't do that, bro. But anyway, just a quick little check to make sure my mic is still good, because that was heartbreaking. What I'm going to do in here is I'm just going to include our platform API. And what this is basically just a header file that's going to give us an interface to basically whatever operating system it is that we're programming on. This is what's going to make it platform independent. So now, my favorite way to design an API is actually just to start using it. Um, that way you know what you need. And this is going to be far from me actually, designing an API, but because this has been done like a million times. But yeah, the first thing we need to do is we need to make int main, okay? And then printf, this is customary for me. Rev up those fryers. We don't do hello world around here. We do rev up those fryers because SpongeBob. However, next, I want to define p start because this is going to be our platform like start function, and then we're going to say while p is running. This is going to be a function that checks to see if the engine is running, returns true if it is running, and returns false if it's not. We're just going to use a flag to terminate the engine, basically. So while the engine's running, we're going to process events. And we're going to create all these functions later, so just don't worry about it for now. And then after all that's done, we're going to say p stop, because we're going to have to clean up memory and stuff like that, so we're going to need a stopping function. And that's pretty much it. So now, if I just yank all of this and go into platform H, source platform.h, and paste all of that in there, we don't need this. We don't need this or that. We don't need that. So equals AP to format all of that. And then, let's see, end if platform H, and then if not defined, platform H, define platform H. So there you go. Those are our header cards, and I like to put a little comment here, just to say what that end if goes to, just so I don't get confused later, because sometimes end ifs can get a little annoying and confusing. But in order for this to work, no, I think we're going to keep it simple for now. I was going to do some like crazy macro shit, but we're going to keep it simple for right now. Right now, what we have is this. I don't think we even have a makefile. Yeah, no, we don't. So we have glad, right? And inside of that, we have our include directory for glad and, glad's dependency khr, okay? We don't even have to worry about khr because that's like a Kronos group dependency. But we also have the source files for glad, so we need to compile those, right? We're also going to need to compile the source for our program, which is main.c, and also the source for the engine, which is going to be located in the actual source folder. So let's see. And I'm going to remind you now, this is more of a library that the engine is going to use. I know I just said that this is the code for the engine, but really it's the platform code. And this is going to be a library that the engine uses to interface with the operating system, basically. So what do we need to do next? We have glad, we have all of that. We need a makefile, so I'm going to copy a actual like reference makefile. Where is it? I believe maybe I'll just use the one from my previous take, because that's probably going to be the least work. Engine slash makefile. No, it's platform makefile into makefile. So if we open Vim and then go into the makefile now, you can see we've got a bunch of stuff in here. No one likes writing makefiles, so you can look at this on the Git repository if you're really curious about how I did it. I'll just kind of basically walk you through it. We have platform is X11, and honestly, this doesn't even really do anything right now, but because there's no other platforms. but I just thought it'd be good to have this for later. And you can like read these comments. I'm not going to because obviously you can read them. But source directory and build directory, those are basically just we have this source folder here, and it's going to create a build directory as well. So that's what those are. And then this here, this is going to be choosing our compiler. So like if you wanted to use GCC instead, you could do this, or you could even do this if you don't want to use the analyzer right here. But we're just going to stick to Clang for now, because I know that Clang actually works really well. These are going to be our C flags. So like all of the compiler flags, these are specific to debug mode, and these are specific to release mode. And then this is the final actual list of C flags that will be used. So we're basically just appending debug to it. If we wanted to switch to release mode, we could do C flags release in here instead, and then it'll build in the release mode. But whatever. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. So right here, we're just checking if the platform is X11. And so basically, that's going to define what libraries we need to link to. And that's kind of just about it for now. The rest of this is just like your standard makefile. This is going through all the source files in the source directory and then creating an object file in the build directory. That's what this does, what these two lines do. And then we're setting up our include directories. We want to include the source directory because I'm putting all of my header files in the source directory. I hate include directories. Don't ever at me about include directories, please. You'll never probably see me make a include directory. But yeah, let's say, yeah, we're also going to need to include the glad include directory because otherwise we won't have access to the OpenGL headers. Right here, we're going to have, we're just going to define that library is the build directory. It's inside the build directory, and it's called platform X11.a, which is like a static library. And then here, this test is going to be our test executable. So it's kind of like what the end user would consider to be the game, I guess. So I'm just calling this platform test. If you're on Windows, you'd probably call it platform test.exe. But on Linux, we don't do that. Here, we have glad and glx being compiled into their own O files. Well, this is literally just defining them as variables, right? So it's literally just, we have a variable called glad that's equal to this string here, which actually equivalates to this. I don't even know if that's a real word, equivalates. Basically, this is what it's going to be, right? So it'll just end up being that. But anyway, we do the same thing for glx, and then here in the library, we're going to, or I'm sorry, in the test target, we're going to say that test, the test executable, so this right here, actually depends on the library already existing. So before we make test, we need to make library. And to make library, we basically just compile all of the O files and glad and glx, which are also O files, right? So we're just basically archiving all of those into a .a file. That's what this does. This right here, we're just basically saying this builds all of the object files. So this will take all of the C files right here, all of the C files, and then convert them into O files, which are these right here. So we're basically saying for every C file, make an O file in the source directory with the same name as that C file. And yeah, you can see how, you know, the CC and C flags are being used here as well. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. The build directory is simple because it's literally just make a directory called build, and then basically everything depends on that, because it all has to go in the build directory. So glad depends on build directory. We just use our compiler and our compiler flags. We set the -c flag here as well because we're compiling an object file, same as we did here. This right here is the C file that we're compiling, and then we're outputting it to glad, which is equal to this right here, this glad.o. So that's kind of that thing. Let's see. And then, yeah, we're just making sure to include glad's specific include that it needs in order to work. And we kind of just do the same thing for GLX. You can read this yourself and kind of figure it out. But yeah, that's basically the make file. I hope I didn't forget anything. But again, this isn't really a tutorial. It's kind of just like live coding. So you're kind of just lucky I even explained that at all. All right, so next up, warning type specifier missing defaults to int. Yes, because in platform.h, we need to give all of these types. And is running should be a bool. Process events and stop, those can both be void, and then start can also be void. So that's fine. So now we have implicit declaration of printf, because inside of here, yeah, okay. Include standard.io.h, and this should fix that problem. So now here's the real meat and potatoes. This is where we have to actually implement the API, because now all we have left is linker problems. We don't have reference to p-start, p is running, p process events, or p stop. So we need to implement all of those functions. And the way that we're going to do that is like this. Edit source /p x11.c. Right, so this is going to be our X11 kind of like platform code. And I'm just going to copy this glx.c from the glad/example/c/glx.c on GitHub. We're just going to paste this in here. And then we do have to actually modify this a little bit. So we're just going to do that, but we're going to compile this and see if it runs. Right? So first problem, we don't have usleep. So usleep, you can get out of here. And then now, yeah, so we have a couple of problems. We have multiple definitions of main. I can fix that very simply because this is just going to be our p-start function. And that should now be fixed. Yeah. So now return, we want to change all of these returns to be exit1 instead of return1, because this function technically isn't supposed to return anything. Implicitly declaring exit, so I'm pretty sure that is, where is that actually? Wait, I'm going to do a Chad move here. I'm going to do this. Oh, wait a minute. How did I do that? View, minimal interface. I don't know how I even did that. Oh man. Doing that on a black background is kind of rough. Okay. Anyway, what the heck was I doing? I was going to say man exit because I need to know what this is in. Yeah, okay. So this is this Chad move I was talking about. You can just kind of see that it's in standardlib.h. So in order to get it, we can just include standardlib.h. And now our list of errors is actually looking a lot better. We don't return a value in all control paths for X11.c. What What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because this should be void. And that should fix that. Alright. So now, P is running, P process events, and P stop all need to be implemented. So let's do that. P is running is going to be really simple. So let's just do that. Static struct internal state, I guess we'll call it. And then we'll have, oh, wait, not static there. We want a static struct internal state equals 0 right here. And then in here, we're going to have a bool for is running. Wait, why is this weird? Static struct, what did I do? What did I do, stupid? What did I do dumb? What's dumb here? Oh. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, this is meant to be P state, I think. So let's just call this P state, and then the name of it should be internal state, right? That's going to be better. So the struct is called P state, and then the internal state is kind of like our singleton of the internal state. Yeah, unused variable, that's totally fine. So now we just need void P is running. And it should not be void or body. Bool, let's call it, and then return. Man, I'm making typos. Return internal state dot is running. All right, so there you go. There's kind of our first function there. That will tell us if the engine is running or not. And then right here, before we actually start the update loop, we need to say internal state dot is running equals true, right? And then right here, I'm going to actually get rid of this while statement and take all of this out of here. I'm going to put it in its own function. So this is going to be void P process events. And then right here, I'm going to say equal I curly brace to indent everything in there properly. Quit doesn't exist, so we need to say internal state dot is running is equal to true. And now we also have this display thing that doesn't exist, so we need to say internal state dot display. Here we can get rid of that. Internal state dot display is what we want. So we just need to change all of these to be internal state dot display instead of just display, because now that doesn't exist. So now let's see. Yeah, so now we just don't have display, so we need a display pointer called display. Not displat. Display. Now we just have undefined window, so I know for a fact that that's what I need to search to find it, because I've done this before. So we're just going to put this also into the internal state, the window. Oh, that was weird. Okay. Let's get rid of that. And now we should be good. Oh, no window inside of there. Yep, because we just need to define it here. Let's run the code, and now we just don't have a reference to p-stop. And then, so what we can do here is we can just take all of this cleanup code from the GLX example, and we can just put it in our p-stop function. So right here, I'm going to do void p-stop, takes a void, and do that, indent inside curly braces. And so now we just have undefined context and color map. So this is a GLX context. So let's just, man, 4J, there we go. GLX context. All right. Internal state.context. So we're basically just renaming all iterations of context to be internal state.context. And then we need to do the same thing for color map. So go to definition, delete that. Internal state.colorMap. We'll do that for all of these. Oops. And 15J. All right. Color map. Just like that. And there we go. We have an X11 window. I kind of speed ran that a little bit because this is like the third time I've done this today. Because, yeah, basically things didn't go so well the first, like, couple times. Anyway, we have a pink window on X11 running in OpenGL. I really just need to know that I'm still recording and everything's working. Okay, very good. Okay, so now clear color, that can go in start. Right here, I'd say, yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'll just put it right here just so it's with this other OpenGL function, not that it matters. The start color, I want it to be 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 1.0. And this is like a nice medium blue. It's really cool. So yeah, there's that. There is our window. Perfect. Kind of perfect. I don't actually say perfect like that. I'm just being silly. Anyway, X get visual info. This is a problem. This is a memory leak that I already know how to solve because I've done this a million times today. But visual info is the culprit here. And the way that I found this out is kind of just through asking Google and like, you know, getting AIs to talk to me and like fucking reading Stack Overflow and shit. Yeah, that's kind of just how things go. But it turns out the solution is actually to not define it here and to define it inside of here. Oops, wait. X visual info. Yeah, okay. 9J. Okay. So X visual info. Pointer visual info. Just like that. And then everywhere we have visual info, we need to say internal data dot visual info. So we'll just do this. We'll just rename all of these. And Internal state, right, okay. I'll just do this. Percent, I'll just substitute internal data for internal state. Let's do that again. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't catch them all, which is annoying. But anyway, okay. There we go. Perfect. That's a window, and it works, and we have no memory leaks. So that's great. There's your kind of like super speed run of creating an X11 window. Not that anybody asked for that, but yeah, I hope it was kind of educational. You can go and read the source code, and I recommend that, you know, you read the fucking, what's it called, the Xlib documentation and the OpenGL docs. You can find the Xlib documentation here. I should have probably said this first, but Xlib doc. I believe everyone just kind of uses this one, even though this isn't really the official one. Everyone uses this one, so you can kind of, and this one's nice because you can download it and you can like grep it and stuff if you just download the tar.gz file right here, which is nice. But you also have this like index of functions. You can kind of find everything on here. Like if I wanted to find create simple window, yeah, right here, and then just go to that page and you can find out, you know, exactly what all of this stuff does. It shows all of the, you know, all of the parameters to the functions and the types and what they return. And I think you can also, yeah, you can like go and look at the different types, and it's pretty interactive and cool. Then there's also docs.gl, which is really good. You should definitely read this. Like, say I wanted to find out what GL clear color does. You would want to click on the GL4 one because we're using OpenGL 4.6. But yeah, so this is like kind of just explains everything about the functions. And yeah, this is a really good place to find information about it. I guess I should also mention that another really good reference for beginners, this has nothing to do with what I did today, really, because we kind of did our own platform layer, but this website is really good for learning OpenGL if you kind of just want to get into graphics programming. I can recommend this a lot. It's really good. They use a library called GLFW to basically do what we're doing here. And yes, I realize I'm reinventing the wheel. I'm saying this like an hour too late. How long is this video? 30 minutes. Okay. I kind of overestimated a little bit. But yeah, I realize this is totally just reinventing the wheel for no reason. But that's fun. That's fun sometimes. I hope you enjoyed the ride with me. And yeah, I'll be back next time where we'll be doing a Win32 platform layer. I'm going to have to do quite a bit of research before doing that. So, yeah. See you guys. Maybe we'll do some other stuff in that too if we have time. But yeah, definitely Win32 platform layer, possibly a triangle. We'll see. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.